So this is going to be the base for the 3,000-gallon water storage tank. It is made out of 4x6 severe weather timbers that we did 45-degree cuts on the corners. And you can see that we put some bolts in those corners, put it on level ground, filled it with some construction sand, which is a coarse sand, and then Don hand tamped it. He used our compactor to really compact that sand in there. Next, we're going to be putting some fabric, some landscape fabric, 2 layers on top of that. He wants to put another thin layer of sand on top of that just to help hold it down. We'll place the tank, and then we'll put some large landscaping, or not really landscape rocks, but we'll put some large rocks around the base just as a decorative measure and to help keep the landscape fabric in place, keep the chickens from digging anything up, keep the animals from digging anything up, anything like that, just to kind of help secure it. Keep the sand from washing away in any way possible or being dug out. One thing that we did do to help secure these boards to the ground, you see this here, we put 4-foot 1/2-inch rebar driven through the wood. Of course, we drilled a pilot hole and into the ground. So that's all the way down into the ground, minus about 6 inches. We've put down our landscape fabric, and now we're putting additional sand layer on top. We'll move it into place, and then we'll be ready to put the tank on. We got to get any kind of rocks out of there too that might have snuck in there. Okay, we're tamping the final layer of sand that went on top of that landscape fabric. All tamped. Now Don's going to do a trick my mother taught me when I moved to Arizona. Gently, Don. Run a broom over the rocks if you don't want to see any of those marks. She learned that from a landscaper she had. All swept, ready for the tank. One thing that I did want to mention, that is our pump house. That's the very first thing that Dawn and I built after we had our well put in. The trim is falling apart. We didn't use the right trim, so eventually we're going to be replacing that. But we wanted to put the water storage tank right next to the pump house. That way the pump doesn't have to work that hard to get the water into the tank. So we'll keep the tank filled. We're going to get a float system for it, and it's going to be connected underground to the pump from the pump house, and we'll show that later in the video how that's going to work. And then also it'll be connected, that's for the fill. We'll also connect to our buried plumbing that we put in 2 years ago now. That when it comes out, it'll go straight to the house, to the laundry, to the kitchen, to the Casita's bathroom, and to Rob and Chrissy's house. So it's going to go to all those places through the underground plumbing that we placed a couple of years ago. So before placing the frame for the water tank, Dawn did dig down to see exactly where we needed to avoid. We didn't want to place it so close that it was over the water line. So this is the water line that we dug underneath the pump house. We had to go underneath our foundation when we did our plumbing. Underneath it comes out, and then about right here it makes an angle and goes all the way out through here, and then turns and goes down to where it connects to the laundry. We have a spot for it to go to the house and for the outdoor spigot, and also it has a spot already in place for the 2 casitas that we're going to be putting in there, and then we'll have to tee it off for a place for Rob and Chrissy's house. This is the inside of our pump house. There's our tank that we're using, our pressure tank, 85-gallon. It's a bit dusty and dirty because we did not do a finished floor in here, of course, and then it's not perfectly sealed, so dust does get in here. This is our pump right here. The well is actually right there, and it connects to the tank. I'm sorry, we got junk in here. From here, from this line, it goes through, and then this is where it goes down below the foundation and out on the other side that I just showed you. There it is in place. After we put it in place, we decided that we probably should have made the base a little bit wider, but it's in place. We did just put those rocks around the bottom corners. Those are not underneath. It does have that layer of sand underneath with the landscape fabric. Everything tamped and compacted into place. Dawn has put the bottom part here. That way we can go ahead and fill it up before we're ready to actually get all the plumbing done. So we still need to do that. That will be later. And we opted for this brass fitting because the plastic fittings will just not really last out here in this kind of environment with the desert and the intense sun. There's a plug on the end, and then we have the metal galvanized and a brass ball valve there, and then this is going to go into this area here. This will connect to the water line that goes to all the buildings. Also in the same area will be the outlet for the well that will come up and go all the way up to this top area, and that's where it will fill from. Also up there is that manhole cover that you'd use for inspections. Check your levels, make sure there's no ice in there in the winter months, things like that. So there it is in all its glory. We're glad to have this because a lot of orchards are going in, nut orchards, and the county doesn't regulate their water usage. They get permitted and they just use water to no end, and they have no commitment to this county or the state for that matter. We have dairy farms from Minnesota, I think, or Wisconsin. We have a lot of nut orchards that are owned by people from foreign countries. They don't care if they use up all our water. They really do not care. So this is just one way we can ensure that we have some water safety. We haven't had any issues with our well yet, but people around our area are starting to have their private wells go dry, and it's because more and more commercial wells are going in, and they go super deep, and they just suck down the water like crazy, gallons and gallons, thousands of gallons of water a day. So in a desert area, it's kind of crazy, but that's our water security. All right, so we're going ahead and filling it at least halfway, so that it's stable in the wind and doesn't go anywhere. And that way I'll have something in it while we're waiting to get it plumbed in with everything. All right, that's our video for this week. We're glad that you were able to watch with us. This is our water security system that we've got in place. Like I said earlier, we do have a lot of commercial wells going in, and that's causing us to worry a little bit about our water safety. And as always, remember to like this video, share it, and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, put them in the comment section down below this video. Let us know what you think. We still have a lot of the plumbing work to do, so that will come at a later time.